Hi, and welcome to Wow Talk. I'm Donna Cappuccitti, a thriving cancer survivor.
And I'm her naturopathic doctor, Darlene Gustin. We're here to encourage, educate, and empower you on your journey to optimum wellness.
And today we are going to talk about magnesium.
Yes.
So let's start with, what is magnesium?
It's a mineral. So it is one of many minerals, and minerals have many roles in the human body. It's one of the most common deficiencies I see in my practice, and it's in great competition with zinc. Which one is my favorite mineral? Which one do I see deficient in the most people?
Oh my, okay. So why do we need magnesium?
Well, it's one of the most abundant minerals in the body, and it has many roles. It has influence on the heart, the blood pressure, the muscles, the stress glands, the sleep quality, the mood, the bowel motility. The list goes on.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah.
So, okay, lots of questions. Where do we get magnesium from? What types of foods? It would be one question. Or does the body manufacture it on its own? And the other question would be, how do we know if we don't have enough?
Right.
So double question there. Okay.
So magnesium is very abundant in green food and in nuts, and root vegetables have a lot of minerals as well, and animal meats. But the biggest answer to that question is greens. And many of us don't consume enough greens. But the bigger problem is, where did all the magnesium go? So for most people, it's chronic stress that created the magnesium deficiency. And sometimes you need additional intake of magnesium through food or supplement just to keep up with how stressed out you are. Or if there are some medications, could also be depleting the magnesium.
Oh my goodness. So what are the symptoms or signs that we are lacking magnesium?
The patient could be depressed. They could have poor sleep quality, the inability to fall asleep, to stay asleep, to go back to sleep if they wake up. They might have muscle cramps, growing pains, heart palpitations, high blood pressure. So a lot of things, anxiety. It's a very calming mineral as well. So I usually have people take the supplement in the evening.
And what forms does the supplement come in? Yeah.
So it could come as a powder, and people would have it as a beverage. It could come as a capsule, and magnesium also comes in different variations of chemistry. So for instance, magnesium oxide is the one that I would give to a constipated person, because that's the one that really over relaxes the colon wall to help you go to the bathroom. So for a person with chronic constipation, versus someone who has fibromyalgia, which is like muscular rheumatism, we want the magnesium to go into the muscle. So we would want magnesium citrate, or magnesium malate is very muscle specific. And right now, a very bioavailable form of magnesium is called magnesium bisglycinate. So that one is very easy to absorb if you have digestive issues, and if you just want the magnesium to kind of go everywhere and to actually perform well, you would take magnesium bisglycinate. And one of the newer magnesiums on the market is called magnesium threonate, and that form of magnesium is able to cross the blood-brain barrier and go deep into the brain to help with the nervous system, depression, chronic stress, the function of the brain, and PTSD, things like that. So if you want magnesium for your brain, that's the one to take.
Okay. What is the relationship between magnesium and calcium?
I often call them best friends. So according to hair analysis, I almost never see that that only one of them is an issue. So they're either both deficient or they're both spilling out of the body. And for most people, when they need to supplement, they will need a 2-to-1 ratio. So for every 2 calciums, you need 1 magnesium. And that's true 80% of the time. But 20% of the time, the person needs a higher amount of magnesium. So it might be even, like a 1-to-1 ratio, or sometimes they actually need the magnesium more than they need the calcium. So that might be, for instance, people with kidney stones. I often find they need the magnesium more than the calcium. Or I give magnesium the head start to stop the leak of calcium and then replenish the calcium soon thereafter.
Okay, so what exactly do you mean by that? Do you mean you will give a higher dosage of the magnesium as opposed to the calcium sometimes?
Correct.
Okay. All right.
So, for instance, with osteoporosis, the focus is all on calcium.
Yes.
But what most people don't realize is that 80 to 95% of the time, where's your magnesium? So when I look at the nutritional status of my patients and measure their minerals, I tell them you can't just take calcium all by itself. You need other things that help grab the calcium and deliver it to where it needs to go in the body, for instance, into the bones. So you'll need magnesium or D or boron, these other minerals. So the minerals are very interconnected, and the lab that measures minerals through the hair, they greatly discourage testing just one mineral. So if somebody wanted to just tell me about magnesium, a blood test doesn't help you very much, because only 1% of all of your body's magnesium is even located in the blood. So you can have a great deficiency of magnesium nutritionally, but with a normal blood test. But if you look at a hair test, that's more a representation of nutritional status. And the lab really only offers a mineral panel where you measure all of them and see how they're all interrelating to each other.
Okay, sounds really, really interesting and a bit complicated.
Yeah, it is.
But I'd always heard that about the calcium and magnesium, those CalMag supplements. And what I had heard was that the body won't absorb the calcium necessarily without the magnesium, which is pretty much what you said.
Pretty much.
But you explained it better.
Yeah.
But that
Thank
was
you.
kind of, but that's what I'd heard.
Yeah.
So back to nutrition. If somebody wanted to do this without supplements, do you think it's still better to get the supplement and then while you're doing that, up your game as far as greens go? And when you say greens, you're talking the leafy greens like kale and spinach would
Correct.
be good.
Correct.
Zucchini. Is broccoli in that group, even though
Sure.
it's not so leafy? Okay. All right.
Yeah, I mean, we need to be eating those anyway.
Yes.
The sad thing is that studies are showing that the mineral content of our food is half of what it was 30 years ago. So I wish I didn't have to talk about supplements. I'd rather have rich soil and better tasting food, because anyone who's my age
Yes. Yeah.
remembers that food tasted better when I was a kid, and we're not imagining that. So I do see a lot of deficiencies. And the other thing too, whether we're talking about food or supplements, is that the absorption of nutrients has a lot to do with how good your digestive system is working. So if people are on antacids or on medications, it can alter how well we absorb the nutrients as well.
Oh, okay. All right. And is there a time of day that one should be taking magnesium?
Definitely. So I usually say after 6 p.m., with or without food, depending on everything else that's going on in that person's life, depending on whether I'm giving them a liquid or a capsule. And also, magnesium has to be careful if people who are taking medications for heart and blood pressure, because it also works on heart and blood pressure. You don't want too much of a good thing taking your medication and taking your supplements, because there can be some overlap. And the general rule of thumb is to just separate medications from supplements by at least 2 hours, or of course see a naturopath to fine tune it in a more personal way.
Sure, because then you would look at the patient's medication, a list of their medications, see the dosage that they're getting of that, and then you would adjust your recommendation, right, for the supplement.
Exactly.
Okay, and I guess you can't overdo it then. That was going to be my next question. What are the dangers?
Exactly. So I mean, the first simple non-life-threatening thing is that taking too much magnesium will give you loose stools. Yeah.
Okay.
So I don't really see people overdosing on supplements in my clinic. And if I do, it's very early in the story and any symptoms would be reversible. But if you did overdose on magnesium, it would just imbalance your chemistry, and it could affect different people different ways. So it could affect somebody more in the nervous system, or more with their muscles, or more with their mood. So we'll vary from individual to individual, but I've honestly never seen it other than a patient saying, I bought this magnesium and it made me go to the bathroom. And I said, yeah, you're consuming more than you can absorb at any given time, or it was magnesium oxide and it over relaxed the colon. Yeah.
Okay, but are there any like serious dangers?
There could be, but I don't know
Okay.
if it's ever happened in Canada to date.
Okay.
Technically, yes, that's possible with any supplement. People don't understand that natural products are not safe. They actually work. So yes, there is a point of no return where a herb or a mineral can cause harm.
Can we go back and revisit that? They are safe, though. No, you said they're not safe. So I think you wait.
Natural doesn't mean safe.
Doesn't mean safe. That's what that means more. Okay, because
Correct.
yeah, no, just the way that you worded it, it could be kind of confusing that one might think that you were saying they're not safe, but they are if they're consumed properly.
Correct.
And in the proper dosage.
Correct.
So don't just assume that, hey, I can take whatever I want because it's natural. It's not going to
No, that's not true, right? So
No.
that's the message I'm trying to say. So
Mhm.
so let's regroup this a little bit.
Yeah.
Let's pretend it's a pregnant mom who's constipated and she wants to take magnesium. So she heard magnesium oxide's the way to go. I've got this lazy colon. I lack the urge to go to the bathroom. However, taking anything that triggers bowel function or muscle tension and relaxation can also trigger labor.
Oh,
So
my.
Yeah. So, or if you take something that's relaxing, magnesium tends to be more of a relaxing type of a mineral, that it wouldn't really be wise to do that if you were sleep deprived and had to go on a long car ride,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's not the same as taking a sleeping pill. It's not going to be as potent, but yes, it does relax the body. It does make you go to the bathroom because it works. There would always be the potential to take a natural product inappropriately and cause harm.
Okay, makes sense. So something like the product that we've seen growing up in the drugstores, milk of magnesia.
Right.
I remember my grandmother, God rest her soul, she would take that. And I guess that was their way, her way in particular, to try to keep herself regular. And I'm doing quotation marks, air quotes. Yeah.
Yeah. I hardly ever have patients who tell me that they're taking milk of magnesia. But yes, it's common for people to self-prescribe things that are minerals, vitamins, herbs, and for a short-term quick fix, no big deal. But technically, if you took milk of magnesia and you didn't need it and you took it long enough, it eventually caused problem.
Okay. All right. Well, is there anything else we should cover on the topic of magnesium?
I think we covered all the good stuff.
Okay.
Definitely.
That is great. If you have any questions, please let us know. Send them in. Give us your feedback. Dr. Gustin is available to answer any questions.
Definitely. And like I said, magnesium is one of my favorite minerals. If you have a different mineral that's your favorite, I'm more than happy to talk about it, because sometimes when I measure people's minerals, I say, hey, everybody's talking about calcium and iron, but have you heard of boron? How about strontium?
Wow, haven't heard of that one. Anyway, well, thank you very much for listening. Bye for now.
Bye.